Imagine this. The house is quiet, the day's hustle has faded, and you're finally in bed, tucked under the covers, ready for some much-needed rest. But instead of drifting off into peaceful slumber, your mind sparks to life. Worries about tomorrow's presentation, regrets about a conversation from today, concerns about finances, or just a vague sense of unease, they all seem to loom larger, more intense in the quiet solitude of the night. Your heart might quicken its pace, your breath feel shallow, muscles tense, and suddenly sleep feels not just elusive, but miles away. If this scenario resonates with you, you are absolutely not alone. Nighttime anxiety, often called sleep anxiety, is a surprisingly common experience that transforms what should be a peaceful, restorative period into a time of heightened worry and restlessness. It's a phenomenon rooted in a complex and fascinating interplay of psychological, biological, and even environmental factors. Today, we're going to delve into why anxiety often decides to show up in full force when the lights go out, and more importantly, what practical, actionable steps we can take to find some calm and reclaim our nights for truly restful sleep. Let's begin by understanding some of the key reasons why our worries seem to magnify after dark. One of the most significant factors is simply the lack of daytime distractions and the amplification of mental noise. Throughout our day, our minds are constantly engaged. We're working on tasks, interacting with people, running errands, watching TV, or scrolling through social media. These activities, even mundane ones, act as powerful diversions, keeping our attention focused outward. But at night, when those external stimuli fade away and everything goes quiet, that internal mental noise, those unspoken fears, regrets, and future concerns, suddenly has center stage. There's nothing left to divert our attention from our inner landscape, and every single concern feels amplified, sometimes disproportionately so. Another crucial element is fatigue and lowered emotional defenses. Think about it. After a long day of physical and mental effort, our brains and bodies are simply tired. This exhaustion depletes our brain's capacity to regulate stress and emotions effectively. Our ability to cope, to rationalize, or to simply let go of nagging thoughts diminishes significantly. We become more vulnerable to intrusive worries, less able to dismiss negative thoughts, and generally less resilient in the face of emotional distress. It's like trying to hold up a heavy shield against a barrage of arrows at the very end of a marathon. Your arms are just too depleted to keep going.
This difficulty leads us directly into what we call the sleep anxiety cycle. Anxiety makes it incredibly difficult to fall asleep or stay asleep, right? And when we don't get enough restorative sleep, our brain's capacity to handle stress is further compromised, actually increasing our anxiety levels the next day. This in turn makes it even harder to sleep the following night, creating a truly vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. Factors like inconsistent sleep routines, using electronic screens late into the night, or consuming stimulants like caffeine or alcohol too close to bedtime only serve to worsen this detrimental loop. Our physiology also plays a significant role through hormonal and biological factors. Our body's natural internal clock, known as the circadian rhythm, is designed to gradually lower stress hormones like cortisol as bedtime approaches. This natural dip in cortisol helps us relax, wind down, and prepare for sleep. However, anxiety can disrupt this delicate rhythm, leading to persistently elevated cortisol levels at night. The result? Instead of feeling sleepy and calm, we feel restless, wired, and unable to settle. There's even some intriguing research pointing to a phenomenon known as the mind after midnight hypothesis. This suggests there's a specific biological window, roughly between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., where our mood can naturally plummet, our cognitive function may decline, and emotional regulation becomes significantly more challenging. So if you find yourself waking up in the dead of night feeling particularly down, overwhelmed, or even experiencing heightened panic, there might be a physiological component at play, not just the content of your thoughts. Furthermore, when we're resting or not actively focused on external tasks, a specific brain network called the default mode network becomes more active. This network is involved in self-reflection, introspection, and imagining future scenarios. While essential for healthy mental processing, In anxious individuals, this network can unfortunately go into overdrive, amplifying worry, overthinking, and leading to seemingly endless rumination, replaying events, or catastrophizing about uncertainties. And then there are the intensified physical symptoms. During the day, with all its distractions, we might barely notice a slight tension in our shoulders, a mild stomachache, or a slightly elevated heart rate. But at night, with fewer external stimuli competing for our attention, we become acutely attuned to every internal sensation. A racing heart, shallow breathing, muscle tension, or even gastrointestinal issues can feel much more pronounced and distressing, adding another layer to our anxiety and making it even harder to relax.
Finally, for some individuals, the quiet solitude of night can also bring up memories or emotional flashbacks related to underlying trauma. Without the distractions of daily life, these past experiences can surface, triggering a hyperactive stress response and making restful sleep feel impossible. Also, being awake while others sleep can sometimes foster feelings of social isolation, making it feel like there's no immediate support available for regulating intense negative emotions. Now that we have a clearer understanding of some of the why behind nighttime anxiety, let's shift our focus to the crucial question: what helps? The good news is there are many effective strategies, often involving a combination of lifestyle changes, practical techniques, and when necessary, professional support. First and foremost, establishing healthy sleep hygiene is an incredibly powerful foundation. This means aiming to go to bed and wake up at consistent times every day, even on weekends, to help regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. Create a relaxing bedtime routine that signals to your body it's time to wind down. Perhaps a warm bath, reading a physical book, not on a screen, listening to calm music, or practicing gentle stretches. Ensure your sleep environment is cool, dark, and quiet. And crucially, avoid stimulants like caffeine and nicotine, as well as alcohol, especially in the afternoon and evening. Also, try to limit exposure to electronic screens, like phones and tablets, for at least an hour before bed. The blue light they emit can interfere with the production of melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. Next, relaxation and mindfulness techniques can be immensely helpful in calming your nervous system. Practices like deep breathing exercises, where you focus on slow, controlled inhalations and exhalations, can quickly activate your body's relaxation response. Try breathing in slowly through your nose for 4 counts, holding for 7, and exhaling slowly through your mouth for 8. Progressive muscle relaxation, where you systematically tense and then consciously relax different muscle groups from your toes to your head, helps release physical tension you might not even realize you're holding. Guided meditations, easily accessible through many apps or online platforms, can also train your mind to be more present and less caught up in anxious thoughts. For more persistent or debilitating anxiety, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a highly effective evidence-informed psychotherapy. Specifically, CBT for insomnia, or CBT-I, is tailored to address both sleep difficulties and anxiety. This therapy helps you identify and challenge those negative thought patterns and behaviors related to sleep and anxiety, replacing them with healthier coping mechanisms and more realistic perspectives. It empowers you to reframe your relationship with worries and sleep, making long-term changes.
A simple yet powerful tool you can implement immediately is journaling. Taking 10 to 15 minutes before bed to write down your worries, your to-do list for the next day, any unresolved thoughts or feelings, or even just what you're grateful for, can be incredibly cathartic. It's like offloading your mental burden onto paper, preventing those thoughts from swirling endlessly in your head once you're trying to sleep. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, do not hesitate to seek professional support. If your nighttime anxiety is persistent, severe, or significantly impacts your daily functioning and quality of life, talking to a mental health professional is crucial. They can provide personalized therapy, help diagnose any underlying conditions like generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, or depression, and discuss potential medication options if appropriate. There are many dedicated experts and digital wellness platforms that offer effective tools, therapy, and meditation resources to help manage stress, anxiety, and sleep issues. So, as we've explored, nighttime anxiety isn't just all in your head. It's a complex interplay of your environment, your body's natural rhythms, and how your mind processes the world when the constant distractions fade. It's the quiet amplifying our worries, our tired brains struggling to cope, and our hormones sometimes working against us, pushing us towards restlessness instead of peace. But understanding these mechanisms is the first, empowering step towards reclaiming your nights. By embracing healthy sleep habits, diligently practicing relaxation and mindfulness techniques, learning to challenge anxious thoughts through strategies like CBT, and knowing when to confidently reach out for professional help, you can absolutely begin to lessen the grip of nighttime anxiety. Remember, a good night's sleep isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of our physical and mental well-being. You deserve to experience the restorative calm that night can truly offer. Take these steps, be patient and compassionate with yourself on this journey, and know that you can move towards more peaceful, anxiety-free nights.